The difference between good and great park runs often comes down to this one metric. Let's see what it is. Kia ora, I'm Coach Ray. I am a running coach who specialises in beginner and recreational athletes, helping them achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. In today's Parkrun Progress Report, Robyn Meikle has asked me to look at her park run at Neale Park in Nelson back on the 17th of January. But before I do that, I want to say a big congratulations to Robyn, who this weekend just gone completed her 200th park run. Well done, Robyn. That's exceptional commitment. Let's have a look at this run. The overall picture was a controlled, well-managed run. The first thing that jumps out is that this was not a blow-up run. Splits in the first kilometre, 6:04, second 5:35, 5:31, 5:38, 5:39. What we see here is very conservative opening kilometre. A strong settling into the rhythm from the second kilometre onwards, and then remarkably stable pacing through the middle and back half. On a flat course at Neale Park, this looks like a runner who needed a little time to settle, but then executed consistently. That may have been due to unfamiliarity with the course, because out of her 200 park runs, this is the first time and only time she has ran at Neale Park Parkrun. Her main or her local parkrun is in Tauranga. So the big pacing story here was the cautious start, then cruise mode. The first kilometre is around 25 to 30 seconds slower than the following kilometres. This usually means one of three things: a conservative start by choice, congestion/positioning early, and there is a little bit of congestion often as you run out and start coming down before crossing the railway line, and things are usually stretched out by that point. She may have needed a longer warm-up before finding her rhythm, and after that she locks into a very repeatable pace band of 5:31 through to 5:39 per kilometre. That consistency is a really positive sign, especially for someone who at this point had nearly 200 park runs under their belt, because experienced runners often self-regulate effort very well. Now, her cadence, that is her standout strength. Average cadence of 187 strides per minute. This is excellent. Even more encouraging, it increases as the run progresses. High 180s, low 190s late in the event, peaking around 192 towards the finish. This tells us that her mechanics are efficient. She isn't overstriding. Fatigue isn't causing a form breakdown. For a runner in the 28 to 29 minute range, she has very strong technical marker. Honestly, cadence is not her limiter here. Her heart rate behaviour was very controlled aerobic effort. Heart rate progression, if we look at the heart rate at the end of each kilometre, you'll see that at the end of the first kilometre, it's 146 beats per minute. At the end of the second kilometre, it's 151. At the end of the third kilometre, it's 152. At the end of the fourth kilometre, it's 160. And then at the end, it's, if I get it right on there, it was 160. Can't quite get it right on that pinpoint last one. She did max her heart rate out about there somewhere, 165 in the fourth kilometre. Once again, I can't get it right on the dot. There it is. This is a smooth, progressive, you can see it gently climbing the whole run, which tells us effort built naturally. There was no early spike, no red line running, good aerobic control. The fact heart rate plateaus near the end rather than continuing to rise suggests she finished controlled, not fully maxed out. So this was not an all-out performance. There's likely some in reserve. Now, experience shows, and with nearly 200 park runs when she ran this, what you often see is emotional control, and this run fits that perfectly. There's no early overexcitement. There's no aggressive pacing mistake. There's no dramatic fade. Instead, it reads like finding rhythm, holding rhythm, and finish steady. And that's what experienced execution looks like. Where the opportunity sits, from a coaching perspective, the biggest opportunity is clear. The opening kilometre was too cautious relative to her ability. Given a stable heart rate, her high cadence, and no late collapse, as well as being on a nice flat course, it's highly likely she could start 10 to 15 seconds quicker in the first kilometre without any penalty later on. That alone could potentially move the overall time noticeably closer to her recent PB territory. If we compare this with her historical performances, her PB is 26:28, set back in 2022. Her recent best in the last 12 months was 27:59, and her fastest run this year was 28:24. This run fits very cleanly with that level of fitness. Importantly, it doesn't look like a runner who has lost speed dramatically. It looks like slightly conservative pacing, comfortable aerobic execution with room to sharpen her race aggression slightly. I don't think I even mentioned her time at the start of the video. She did 28:47 in Neale PARKRUN number 64. And we just touched on looking at where her recent runs have been, and you can see she's mainly around the Bay of Plenty region with a trip down to Nelson in between. And her 200 runs, the majority have been at Tauranga PARKRUN. So the key coaching summary is, if I had to summarize this into one line, it would be a technically strong, controlled performance with room to be more assertive early. Lift this intensity of the heart rate, lifting that a little bit higher early on. Her strengths were excellent cadence, smooth heart rate profile, even pacing once settled, and her experienced execution. Her next step is to trust her fitness a little earlier in the 5K. Bring the middle pace forward into that opening kilometre. The big picture takeaway, this run doesn't show a fitness limitation. It shows pacing confidence as the main area for improvement. And that's good news, because pacing is easier to improve than physiology. Join our community of runners who are improving their parkrun times every week with the Kickstart plan. You'll find the link down in the description.